have an offer to put out in front of for Facebook ads and actually make it profitable. Most businesses just start to run Facebook ads expecting that there'll be a huge influx of new clients and that will lead eventually to a profitable business. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't have the right strategy and the right offer to start, that those magical profits won't just arrive. So today I'm going to cover kind of 3 of the most effective strategies to really think about in running your Facebook ads to actually set up that sequence of offers that you need for your customers, because you're not looking for just one-time buyers. You're looking for those multiple buyers that are going to be with you for years and years and years. So today I'm going to walk you through a variety of different strategies. I'm going to show you different examples of actual ads and actual flows of certain businesses that are using some of these strategies. And I'll talk you through the various different variations, because one strategy isn't going to, one strategy that somebody else is using for their Facebook ads isn't necessarily going to work for yours. So the idea is that you can really personalize it based on your audience versus your business, all those kind of things. And I'll walk you through step by step on how to do that. So if you're just joining me for the first time, I'm Brian Czekanski. I'm a copywriter that focuses on Facebook ads. My main focus is on coaches and businesses that have moms as their audience. I really love to use that emotional storytelling within the Facebook ad copy to really capture the attention of the audience that I'm going after and get them moving towards the action that we want in terms of products or services. So again, in terms of the strategy and the setup, this is what I do every single day, not only in terms of writing the copy, but the initial setup of the ads, but also more of the strategy behind it to make sure that as much as possible, we're running profitable ads. And, the idea that you're getting a positive ROI allows you to scale your ads over time, get further market share, and get your ads in front of even more people and have even more of an impact. So again, I'm going to walk you through 3 different strategies that I see across Facebook ads right now. It's, these 3 strategies are the ones that I use with my clients as well. Again, it's not all inclusive. There are other strategies that you can put out there and use. So, but I could say these are the most popular, the most effective, and the ones that you see most often as you go through and scroll through your newsfeed and see some of those ads. So one of the things that you have to realize, especially when I first started as a freelancer, my idea is that if I had enough activity, if I had enough clients, that profitability would just come, would just be kind of an end result of all that activity and lead generation and all those kind of things. And, I've learned it in my own business, especially in those first few years, that profitability is something that you have to plan for. It's something you have to be strategic for. And it's not, it's not like any other business that is out there. Like to be, have the right profits, you have to look at your margins, you have to think about expenses, you're going to have to think about ultimately what is commonly referred to as kind of the buyer's journey, and really thinking about those sequence of offers that you're going to put out there. If somebody's going to buy and ultimately trust you and put down their credit card to buy your product or service, what is that sequence? Once they buy that first thing, what's that second thing that they're gonna that you would potentially put in front of them? And how long before you put it in front of them? Because even those people that you help, once you help them and get to the end destination that they're looking for, that key benefit that they're looking for, they're going to have a new set of problems that they're dealing with, and they're going to need, especially if they've developed a trust with you, a new set of solutions that you can go out there and deliver. So again, before you kind of set up your Facebook ads or even think about it, you should really think about your offer sequence, and we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. Again, I'll show you some examples as well, but at a very basic level, especially when you're trying to get some customers for the first time, think about like, what are some of those lower priced offers that we can, just identify some of our buyers and get them in the door, and allow us to kind of segment between those non-buyers and buyers that are out there for the, for ones that kind of take on or buy that low ticket offer. How can we move up and maybe have an offer that's a couple $1,000s or even higher, maybe $10,000 that is out there? And then again, for those VIP clients that you've had, seeing lots of great success, they really love your work. How can we put a high ticket offer in front of them, 25 grand or more, depending on your business, especially in the coaching business would be a good example. So again, the sequence of offers is really important, because as we're identifying buyers with Facebook ads, we want to be able to take advantage of their attention, their motivation, put offers in front of them, and either get a yes or no, but obviously continue that conversation as we go along. If you're not putting offers in front of your potential buyers, that's where you're going to continue to put money into ad spend. And, that becomes, it's tough to make profits when you're continually pushing back when you're going to put offer in front of people. So what I'm going to do is kind of share my screen really quickly. Just bear with me as I share it. So I've just got a couple slides, couple examples as we go through. So again, here's the first slide. So strategy number one is kind of the most common that you would see out there, putting some type of free offer in front of your audience. So things like a PDF lead magnet. So it could be a couple pages that delivers some value to your end audience, and then obviously leads to some type of offer at the end of it, either working with you or buying one of your products, those kind of things. That's the one that you kind of see, and that's the one that is kind of advised, especially if you're trying to build your email list. Just put together a short document to kind of introduce yourself, deliver that credibility, obviously offer some education and value to start building that trust and getting people moving in the right direction, and then start to hold their hand in terms of what's that next best step once they've taken that free offer as they go along. Other things like webinars, like you see it all the time in terms of webinars. People will have you opt in. The great thing about a webinar, and the same thing with a PDF lead magnet, you're collecting their information. Could be first name, last name, email address, and you can kind of continue that conversation via your email campaign, normal emails that go out once a week or even more than that. And the great part about that, I talked about it yesterday in terms of the lives, you need 5 to 7 touch points before somebody is ready, typically before they become, from a prospect to an end customer. So how can we get there as quickly as possible in terms of those 5 to 7 touch points? And email is a great way of doing that, combining it with Facebook ads. And again, webinar is a great way to do that because obviously you're tying in both parts of what you're trying to do for a lead magnet. You're obviously giving away some value within that webinar, giving away a little bit more about your process, kind of building yourself up in terms of that credibility. But towards the end of that webinar, ending with some kind of call to action in terms of a paid offer to get people moving in the right direction. The disadvantage of webinars is, especially if you're doing it live or even recorded, people have to actually show up for them. So that's the thing. If you're not doing it instantaneously, if they can't get a recording right away, you're kind of depending on that momentum and attention that you were able to grab, and that continuing that they actually show up maybe the next night or whatever your times are set up for a webinar. Obviously, you can do an evergreen webinar where they can click the link right away, see a recording of a webinar. And again, that's a way to kind of capture their attention as you go along. Other things like video training series, which you can kind of deliver via email, great way to kind of foster that relationship, start the conversation, and eventually towards the end of that email training series, get to the point where you're putting out an offer. Lots of people within the weight loss space doing lots of challenges. Could be a 5-day challenge, could be a 28-day challenge, could be a paid challenge, could be a free challenge. But in this instance, a free challenge where they get to know you and a little bit better, especially in the coaching realm. A good way to start taking action, start getting results. And that ultimately leads to some kind of paid offer, maybe a longer term challenge or a paid membership at the end of that. Or the other thing you can do is just deliver some kind of course via email. It could be a 30-day course where you send out an email every single day, deliver some value, and in delivering that value, you could have a paid offer at the end of that. Again, as people kind of get in the habit of reading your emails, getting to know you, who you're about, taking action, that makes it more likely that they are going to trust you and ultimately buy from you at the end. But I think one of the key things that I see, especially with putting out free offers, is making sure that, again, you're taking advantage of that attention and momentum and putting a paid offer in front of them right away. So the typical way you'd set up a PDF lead magnet is somebody opts in via a landing page. They give you their first name, last name, email address. They hit that submit button. You deliver that lead magnet via email. And on the thank you page that they would go to next, that's where I typically put some kind of thank you email where it says, thanks for opting in for my lead magnet. And by the way, if you want to accelerate your progress even more, here's a specific paid offer that you can put out there. It could be a low priced offer. It could be a higher ticket offer. Really is kind of testing that out. Again, think about your buyer's journey and kind of that sequence of offers that is out there. It's worth testing out. But again, by putting a paid offer, even before they kind of consume your lead magnet, you're taking advantage of that attention and motivation. because again, once they kind of click away and get off your landing page or go away from your ad, you at some points you're going to be out of sight, out of mind. So we want to make sure that we are capturing, while we're right in front of them, how can we get them to take out their credit card and eventually become a paying customer versus somebody that is kind of just benefiting from being on your email list, consuming some of your free resources along the way. And same thing with a webinar. So not everybody's going to show up for that webinar, but if you can kind of continue the conversation, get that conversation going via email, on a continuous basis, that can have a huge impact as well. So I just want to kind of lay this out in terms of how I would set it up in terms of flow, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So again, once somebody opts in, again, this is where the Facebook ad is going into. In this example, using a conversion ad, we go into a landing page that has an opt-in. You give them some kind of valuable information. Could be like a free PDF, a free book, webinar, video training, masterclass, whatever it is, to deliver some value. But the key thing is, once they hit that thank you page, that we're going to some type of paid offer. And then in the meantime, again, continuing that conversation for that email sequence. The email sequence could be anywhere from 7 to 10 emails where you're delivering value and really setting up that paid offer as much as possible. So at the end of that 7 to 10 emails, they know exactly what your offer is all about. They have all the questions answered. You have kind of answered a lot of their objections as well. On the left-hand side, again, a little bit more advanced, but if you wanted to do a text message automation or Facebook Messenger flow, that's another way to kind of continue the conversation with people, especially for those people that might be more conducive to having a conversation via text versus reading email. It's just another way of doing it altogether. So I just want to show you a few examples of how this kind of works for some of the people that I've seen. One of the ones that I see all the time, and I've kind of gone through his flow as well. If you want to see a little bit more detail, go to my YouTube page where I've gone through David Bayer's funnels and kind of bought into several of his products to show you what the pages look like. David Bayer, kind of one of the top personal development gurus that are out there, really selling kind of a combination of mindset training, but also business entrepreneurial help. So you can see in terms of this ad, I just picked out one as an example. Again, he has a free offer that is out there. He also has other strategies that we're going to talk about, but just in kind of breaking down his ad right here, using his own personal story to kind of catch your attention and kind of resonate with you as much as possible. So we were stuck on the entrepreneur's carousel, going from program to program, but in less than 36 months, we built one of the fastest growing companies in our market. So again, he's trying to meet you on your level. You might be an entrepreneur right now, going through all the courses, kind of going through that cycle of trying to get your business off the ground. And then he talks about his transformation in a short period of time. He was able to kind of find that secret that's out there, and that he kind of leads with the results right here as we go down the page. And it all comes down to, again, using curiosity. And he's telling you all the things that he didn't do. So you're probably thinking that he ran online ads. He's going to tell you that I didn't do that. I didn't build an email list. I didn't create a webinar or funnel. I didn't do challenges, summits, Facebook groups. So you kind of develop that curiosity, like, okay, if he didn't do all these things, like, what did he do? Like, I have to join this training to figure out what he's doing. So really using that curiosity in his own story and kind of the transformational way of doing it that ultimately gets down to the page right here where he's asking you to click for a webinar. Once you join that webinar, ultimately, he's going to deliver and kind of share his secret around his strategy for building his business and what he used for doing that on the webinar, and eventually gets to a business program for him. For him, it's actually a higher priced program. He might have some lower ticket products. I haven't really watched this webinar, but I know his business program is $10,000. So again, like, he's using a webinar potentially to get to a higher priced offer, like a 5-figure offer that is out there. So it's increasingly possible if you're giving enough value in that webinar and you're retargeting people, putting ads in front of people again and again, and really building up the brand and what you're all about. That can be a way for first time, join that webinar and eventually join a high ticket program. Another one that I've seen more recently, just in my news feed to kind of mix it up a little bit, is within the weight loss industry. So this is Una Duncan, who, like I just read her book and really appreciate her personality and her process. So again, kind of using curiosity within the Facebook ad to get you moving towards her free training. Again, using the webinar to get you to her next program and eventually moving along. So again, talking about one of the key things for her, which is habits. So again, you kind of hit that see more button. You want to learn about like, what are those habits? And again, using kind of the same type of Facebook ad copy, kind of a template or kind of a way of doing it. So leading with all the benefits of what's out there. So getting in killer shape, clearing through all the confusion, and realizing that only one habit really matters. So again, using that one habit as curiosity to get you moving towards that free training, because you have to find out what it is. And eventually get there. So like the one thing about Una and this ad is that within the weight loss industry, and we'll get into compliance in further lives, is just there's certain words that you can't use. So like she's done it really well and kind of providing kind of a positive environment for where she's trying to go, building up her credibility, but also using curiosity to talk about that one habit that is out there. And again, what is she going to? She's going to a webinar where she's going to sell you her 28-day transformation program. So kind of like a challenge, lower ticket offer for her. But once you go through that 28-day transformation, that's where she's going to get you into more of her annual membership. Once you're in the annual membership, I would assume, I don't know her offers that well, but I assume she has some type of mastermind to further go up. So if you think about, again, that buyer's journey that is out there, we go back to David Bayer. He has lower ticket products and offers on his website that he's getting people in the door and kind of identifying those buyers. He's got a business program that's at least $10K in terms of getting that advice and helping to grow your business. And then he's got a mastermind, probably several masterminds at this point, that are $25K in terms of that price tag. So you can see how he's kind of moving people through as they get to know him a little bit better, see the results of his coaching and training. They're as their business moves along, they have more and more income to reinvest in terms of his programs. And he knows that you have, he knows you're going to continue to have problems that he can solve along the way because he's been on that same journey as well. So really thinking about that. And the same thing with Una, going through and giving you a little taste of her process and her philosophy with a 28-day challenge. You can also go out there and buy her book and other things to get to know her philosophy a little bit better, get into one of her annual membership. And then obviously probably the next step up is some kind of private coaching that you can do as well for a higher ticket as well. So that's kind of an idea of what it looks like from a free offer perspective. So I want to move on to kind of strategy number 2, which is a self-liquidating offer. And this is really about putting some kind of price tag right away. So instead of asking people to opt in for a free offer, we're asking people to actually put down their credit card and buy something. And this is really helpful because, again, as you're spending money on Facebook, you're getting that revenue in the door right away, and you're identifying buyers from non-buyers, but also that allows you to kind of scale up your ads really quickly because it allows you to either break even or prove positive if you set up that self-liquidating offer for this all the time. And the one, that I learned from this, Russell Brunson kind of always put, when I first became a copywriter, was always putting self-liquidating offers in front of me. One of the ones that kind of caught my attention, and the one that I bought into was kind of some of the free plus shipping offers that he had for books. He had a webinar, copy framework that he gave away. And what he did was, once you bought that self-liquidating offer, and it wasn't kind of a low ticket offer, it was anywhere from, maybe like $5 to $25. But once you did that, there was a series of upsells for a congruent product that kind of fit really nicely in terms of, once you bought this offer, you probably want this as well. So it might be a way to kind of accelerate your progress or growth, or maybe just something that really fit nicely together. So using that webinar copy template as an example, if you're writing a copy, script for a client, you're probably going to want the slides that go along with that. So that was one of the upsells that he gave along the way. If you want my slide template, again, you can go into you probably had a master class as well, where you can get into his philosophy and get a little bit more coaching, and then probably a further upsell from there. So that's really the idea, in that you're putting out a low ticket offer that really covers your ad spend at the very least. And then you're really going to make your money in terms of that lifetime value of that customer, in that they're buying one product, but you're going to put congruent, or maybe something that's going to accelerate their growth within that same time period. Again, the idea is that if they've clicked on your ad and bought your product, they're probably at the height of the motivation. So they probably are desperate for help, or they're really they're really bought in already. So let's put as many offers in front of them as possible. Let's get that lifetime value as high as possible. And that's going to allow you to kind of scale your ads as quickly and as you can, because you're getting revenue in the door and people are buying, and you're putting multiple offers in front of people. So again, I kind of want to show you an example of this, and I'll show you the flow first of what it looks like. And this is kind of, it looks really complicated at the start, but I'll kind of walk you through it step by step. So again, we get to some kind of sales page where they're offering some kind of self-liquidating offer. Again, it could be a masterclass, it could be a free plus shipping offer, it could be just a specific digital product that you have. Typically low ticket in terms of just getting quick buyers in volume and getting their credit card down. But once they go through and hit that submit button and submit their credit card, what we're going to do, instead of getting to a thank you page and a summary right away, we're going to throw another offer in front of them. This is going to typically be a higher priced item. It's going to be congruent with this offer right here. So it's going to be somewhat related, and we're going to put it out there and see, again, it's going to be either a video sales letter or a sales letter that's in there that sells all the qualities and benefits of that. And if they go forward and they accept that, they're going to go to upsell number 2. And upsell number 2 could be an even higher priced item. It could be a membership. It could be a vast variety of different things. But typically, put another offer in front of them and see if they'll buy into that as well. And then if they do that, in the best case scenario, you go to upsell number 3. Again, this could be 3 to 5 you could put as many offers in front of your audience as you want. But this is kind of just the normal standard one. You put 3 upsells in front of them and eventually get to a thank you page. But obviously, each offer isn't always going to work. So you should also have some downsell options as well. Again, this is getting more advanced. When you're just starting out, you're not going to have all these offers, but it's something to kind of sketch out to say, like, okay, what is the buyer's journey again? What else would they want if they're buying this product? So again, if they get to upsell number 1 and you give them the option between, like, okay, I want to buy this, or no, no thanks right now. If they say no thanks, how can we downsell to maybe another product, or how can we maybe slash the price of that specific product in half? So maybe if it was a $97 course, the downsell could be we're going to slash the price to $49. Does that, if price is one of those things that's holding them back, that might be the difference between them accepting or not. So if they do accept, that's when we're going to just bring them back to the upsell flow. So we're going to go to upsell number 2, and hopefully they go through. But again, if they get to upsell number 2 and they decide, even if they bought upsell number 1, they get to upsell number 2, they say, it's not really the right fit for me. Having another downsell opportunity is, again, really important. Change up the price a little bit, maybe put a different option in front of them. It could be a membership versus a regular product, might make all the difference. And again, you're just trying to get them back into the upsell flow, or just buying as many offers as possible to get your lifetime value up. And it just makes a huge difference, especially as you're trying to feed into some of that ad spend that you're doing. So that's kind of the idea. Again, it can be really complicated, it can be really simple, but I'm going to just show you another example again of somebody that's doing it. So, this one is somebody that I've covered on my YouTube channel. I've kind of gone through actually her entire funnel. So if you want to go on my YouTube channel, look up my video on Robin McMahon. She is a coach for moms that are kind of, struggling at home, dealing with disciplining their children, or just that communication with their kids. So this is kind of her Facebook ad copy, and she's, really tying into these specific moms that are, and kind of focusing on that problem to start. So the first couple of lines are meant to kind of capture that mom's attention. My household used to be a nightmare. We all seem to be fighting over everything. So she's kind of using her personal story, again, just like David Bayer did, to say, I've been in your shoes before, and then getting into some kind of transformational story by really introducing her unique process. So, again, talking about how she'd prefer, at some points being just staying in the office versus being at home because it got so bad, and what she calls the cycle of shame. And then she kind of learned again a little bit more about her process, talked about brain development and the real reason behind her kids' tantrums and mine. And then gets into the transformation again. Fast forward to today, everything is great. Look at all these benefits. Would you like to learn more about that offer? Again, she doesn't give too much away in terms of that unique formula. She wants you to get to that next page in terms of a sales page for her book. Her book is again like a low priced offer. I think it's somewhere between like $12 to $14. But again, that's not where she's making her money. She's kind of using that as a self-liquidating offer. And then once you do that, she's got a series of upsells, anywhere from 3 to 5 upsells I've seen on her funnel. She's selling things like courses where she sells them for a couple $100 up to $1,000. She's got a monthly membership that is part of that upsell as well. I think it's $100 a month that's out there. She's got other, again, she's got a series of different offers that she's developed over time, and in that upsell flow she's just trying to kind of handle. So she knows that people that are kind of struggling with their kids right now, they have a series of other specific problems. So she's developed offers that are congruent, not only to, kind of yelling with your kids, but other specific problems that are very much related to that. It could be everything from your kids' education to dealing with siblings that are fighting. So she's got specific offers that address some of those congruent problems that she knows her audience has. By putting a series of different offers in front of her audience, she knows that she can kind of get her lifetime value up and eventually scale up her funnel and scale up her ads as quickly as possible from there. So again, go to my YouTube channel. I kind of actually go through her funnel step by step and show you what the pages look like in terms of that. But I wanted to move on to strategy number 3, which is obviously as you go along, it gets more and more complicated, but I'll end with the most complicated one, which is really building out a full sales funnel. So the idea with a full sales funnel, and again, this is kind of, a really detailed graphic, but I'll kind of walk you through it step by step. Again, the idea is that as you put out a Facebook ad in front of your audience, if they've never heard of you before, you want to kind of introduce yourself. You want to kind of start that conversation. Just like, again, the best metaphor that I have is kind of thinking about you're dating somebody for the first time. You don't want somebody coming to that first date and proposing to you right away. You want to kind of get to know that person, get to know what they're all about. And along the way, that's where, again, just like buyers will be willing to put out their credit card after they get to know you a little bit better, get to know your brand and what's unique about you. That's what we're trying to do with the sales funnel. So at the top of the funnel, what we're trying to do is really just introduce ourselves. We're not trying to throw a bunch of different offers out at them. So this is where you can use Facebook ads like video views to kind of introduce yourself. This is where you might put a masterclass replay that's a little bit longer in length and throw it out in front of your audience and see if they have value for it and use that as a great introduction. The other thing you can do is maybe 1 or 3 minute videos that kind of introduce your process a little bit more, build up your credibility. So they start seeing your name everywhere. It kind of enters their news feed. They get used to watching your videos. They get used to seeing your name. And kind of the second step is kind of that middle funnel. So the middle funnel is kind of taking that next step and pushing it forward. So there's a variety of different things you can do. You can deliver some further education. This is where a lot of people are doing more and more of those quiz funnels to kind of build up the awareness of their solution, but also the problems that their audience might not even realize that they're dealing with. Other useful resources, testimonials. This is a great place to put it out there. Once they've gotten to know you a little bit better, to build up some credibility for your process, send some video testimonials via some of those brand awareness or reach ads or even video view ads to build up that process. And eventually after we want to get to the point where 5 to 7 touch points, we've gotten to the point where people get to know you, they're ready to buy. And that's where you can send a conversion ad in some of the strategies that we've talked about. Or you can send them directly to a sales page and have them buy right away and use that sales page, go more direct. They don't have to opt in for an email list right away. You just send them right to a product page and you hope, and again, you've done all the work in terms of putting those other ads in front of you. And you can see how this is more of an advanced strategy, and you have to have a higher budget as you go along. So if you're just starting out, building out a full sales funnel doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you can kind of use components of this to further accelerate your progress. So again, if you're using a free offer, you might want to put some video view ads out there for $1 a day before you send out that conversion ad. It's a great way to kind of identify within your audience who are those people more likely to be interested in. And that way you can kind of keep your lead costs a little bit lower. It's a pretty cheap way of identifying and some of that interest that is out there, and kind of using those strategies to do it in that way. And again, moving people from people that have never heard of you and maybe not even realizing the problem that you solve is a problem that they're dealing with, all the way to kind of that most aware, where they know exactly who you are, how you can help them, what problem that they have, and they're ready to kind of put their credit card down right away. So I'm not going to, on my YouTube channel, again, if you want to go into a little bit more examples, I do have a playlist around sales funnel strategy where I basically, again, I went through David Bayer's funnel in one video, and a couple other examples. If you want to see how detailed it is, see what kind of pages that are out there. Again, same thing for Robin, who's that parent coach. If you want to see what a self-liquidating offer and some of those upsells look like, check out my YouTube channel and see some of those videos as well. And then let me know in the comments, like what, if you're running Facebook ads right now, which of these strategies are you utilizing? And as you think about that buyer's journey, do you have more of an ascension model where you start out at a low priced offer and move buyers all the way up? Or do you take the opposite approach? You start out with that high ticket offer, and you might have some lower priced items or offers that kind of build up that lifetime value over time. Or are you one of those businesses that has one offer and might be a membership or something like that? That's kind of your bread and butter, and you kind of stick to that more than anything else. I'd love to know in the comments below, whatever platform you're looking for. And check this out every day, Monday through Friday. I do lives on Facebook ads, strategy, ad copy. So check it out on whatever platform you're on. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So check that out. Hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and hit that like button if you appreciate some of the strategies that I put out there. And hopefully it just helps you as you're either thinking about Facebook ads, or if you're currently running Facebook ads, how can you put together a strategy that really thinks about that buyer's journey, but also sets it up in a way that makes your ads profitable from the very start. Again, you can start with a free resource like a lead magnet or a webinar or something like that, but make sure that you put a paid offer in front of those people right away while you have their attention and motivation. The second one, a self-liquidating offer where you're using some lower priced book or masterclass or video training to cover some of that ad spend, but then putting some additional upsells and downsells in front of them, again, to capture their attention and momentum when it's at its highest. And the third one, more complex, again, a lot more detailed, building out a full sales funnel. Really think about, again, that process of moving somebody that's never heard of you before, and they need 5 to 7 touch points before they're ready to pull out their credit card, hire you, or buy your product, and really moving them from unaware to most aware by introducing yourself via some of those videos, sharing some of those testimonials, and eventually getting to the point where you're putting an offer in front of them. So for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.